You're watching WRKM Channel 22, number one in the region. The following WRKM broadcast for mature audiences only. We are back from Puerto Rico. Did I learn anything? Most likely not. But while we were gone, some huge breaking news. Huge. Could change the game. Pablo Escobar's hippos are out of control. They need to be stopped, moved by the Colombian government. These cocaine hippos are fucking a little too much, according to the Colombian government, and they need to be dealt with. But also, I think Donald Trump got indicted too, so there was that. And there's old ladies on the cover of Vogue. The whole world turned upside down when I was in the Caribbean. But don't worry, I'm back. Your weekly apocalyptic acceptance therapy is back as well. Let's have the talks we can't have when the sun is up. Good evening. I'm Rafi Fuentes. This will end in darkness. I'm back. I survived my 8 days in the Caribbean. Am I any more tanned? Not particularly. I do have a good base for the summer, but by the time the summer arrives, that base will no longer matter because it's a few months away, and I don't intend on being at the beach in the coldness of March. But I did miss this show, and I kind of missed you too, Bobby. Yeah, I kind of missed you too. You know, I missed that annoying voice in my headphones telling me what to do, telling me what I need to remember, what ceiling I shouldn't go past. It's kind of hard to live your life without a producer, really. Maybe that's what life coaches are. Life producers. But that was a very fantastic trip. We'll get to that a little later. But we'd be, ridiculous if we didn't start with the biggest news of the week. They got him. They are going to put handcuffs on the homie. It took a damn long time, 5 years. Apparently, statute of limitations get paused when you leave the state. That will be news to a lot of my criminal friends. That will certainly shock them once they hear it. But Donald Trump got indicted, man. He is the first former president in history to be indicted. Nixon wasn't even indicted. And he was doing CIA covert ops shit. But no, Gerald Ford was like, no go. We will pardon him and we will move on as a country because that's what's important. Gerald Ford, a president of a less pettier time. God bless him. But not this 2020s. These new 20s are going to be defined by a true level of political pettiness that I like. I have always enjoyed when the parties would come after each other at some point. And this isn't the first real status quo breaking. They went after Bill Clinton for getting his dick sucked in the office. Some would say, Ralph, it was more about the lie that he didn't get his dick sucked, but it's really about the blowjob, which I always thought was weird because many Republicans are hiding blowjobs they receive from men because their Christian voter base would not like it. So I always felt like one hand washed the other. Hey, I'm cheating on my wife. Don't talk about it. We won't talk about your secret gay love affairs. So you can get your votes, I can get my votes. We can be good. There used to be a political understanding about moral shortcomings because they are politicians. But that is over now. We're done with that. It's time to hold people accountable. The truth must have its day, as Michael Caine kept yelling in Dark Knight Rises. The truth must have its day. That's a terrible Michael Caine, but it was so annoying to hear him say it over and over and over. And to be fair, he is the real villain of Dark Knight Rises. You know, he yells at Batman for coming back into the game after being years retired, acknowledging that Bane's a big enough threat for him to come out of retirement. And he tells him, well, you just want to die. And it's like, no, have you seen Bane? He's huge. These cops ain't dealing with him. He has the League of Shadows on his side. So I kind of have to come out of retirement. I never expect the Brits to be logical. But we're here, baby. Political pettiness has begun. You know, back in the 2000s, when George Bush was president, we always talk about how he should be brought up on war crimes for the war on terror and the things we've done during that. And then conveniently, those same talks were, well, the volume went down on those when Barack Obama was killing innocent people with drone strikes. You know, I guess one war crime is more serious than the other, but war crimes are war crimes, at least. That's what we told the Nazis in World War II. It wasn't enough to be following orders. You committed a war crime, you were sent to jail. Seems like we don't have that standard for our guys. But now, a DA who was running on the very issue of indicting Trump has now gone and indicted Trump. And now Trump next week will have to file fingerprints, get a swab of his spit for the DNA, and take a mugshot. Finally, my father and the president have something in common. Goodie for me. What a day to be alive. What is he being indicted of? Well, apparently you can't just go around paying sex workers, though some would say there are men paying sex workers now, and they're not filing it on their taxes, let alone telling their wives. Which you probably should tell your wife if you are having sex with a sex worker and paying her for it, because the communication boundaries in your marriage have broken apart. So it would seem prudent that you would want to discuss that. Maybe not put it on your taxes. I don't know if the guys at H&R Block care or the IRS, but your wife will certainly care. So make sure to file that with her ASAP. But they're saying that his Stormy Daniels payment was mislabeled as legal, funding, I think, or illegal pay or whatever. And to be fair, is it not? Is it not? When you're getting blackmailed by a porn star and you're paying her hush money, is that not a legal transaction? There was a congressman we talked about recently who was getting blackmailed for his dick pics. And those people who were blackmailing him, well, they went to jail. How come Stormy Daniels didn't go to jail? She's blackmailing a president, or a soon-to-be president at the time. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm all for Stormy getting her come up. I'm a huge believer in, if you can blackmail someone, blackmail them. Make your money. This is America. No one's stopping you. Make your money somehow. The country's run on a grift. It's run on crimes anyway. It was started by criminals. Be a criminal. But is he really a criminal for not logging this payment correctly on tax papers? But then they're going to try to reason that he did that to avoid a second violation of the tax code to hide something else, which that will be a huge thing to claim because they haven't figured out what that second thing is. So of all the indictments they could have gone with, they went with the weakest one, where Trump will slap this one away. He'll laugh. He'll say some mean things about people and then move on. And then by the time he gets to the real indictments that actually carry water, no one's going to care. Because they'll remember this. The same way people remember when Fauci said masks didn't work, but then masks did work. People still hold Fauci to that, even though we're 3 years later. You only get one chance to make a first impression. And they fucked it. And the thing is, often we on the left do fuck first impressions. Because we seem to think that people are logical and ethical and moral and will see the wrongdoings. And we get too excited sometimes. We blow our wads a little early. Rachel Maddow blew her wad with the Trump tax papers, which turned out to be nothing, really. And here we are again, coming after the dude with not a lot. But doesn't it look cool? Doesn't it feel cool to say that you got to live in a time where a president got indicted? Or a former president got indicted? Isn't that cool? And if I'm lucky, maybe the current president will be indicted for, the Ukrainian connections on the Hunter Biden laptop. Because there are some snaky shit there. That's not getting reported. For a little bit it was getting reported, but now it's not. It's interesting how that's being swept under the rug. But I think my problem is that I look for a level of Vulcan logic in these things. Me and my friend, The Revolution, who's a guest on his show many times, we are victims of wanting Vulcan logic, where we just want a level of consistency we can all agree upon. But that's not what we have here. If you're going to indict Trump for this, then you gotta go after other presidents for other things. And then, when the right decides to go after left-wing presidents, what will we do then? Cry foul? Can't cry foul now. We went after theirs. We shot the first shot. You get the smoke you asked for. You can't put in an order for smoke, get the confirmation email that your order for smoke is on its way. You track the package of smoke as it is making its way to your doorstep. Ding dong, delivery man, here's your smoke. I don't want that smoke. No, thank you. I deny that smoke, but you ordered it. So now for the future smoke, this is where you put the order in. Won't be able to cry foul then because we've already broken the seal. It's something we tend to do because we believe we have the moral high ground. We all think this is Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, where you're Obi-Wan and you have the high ground, don't you fucking jump. And then they jump and you take the legs and the arms. But we're not in that place. We are never in that place. But to be fair, he paid a sex worker. I thought we were pro-sex workers. I thought we should be commending him for paying a sex worker. He paid her $100,000, I think. Now is Stormy Daniels worth $100,000? Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Would I have paid her $100,000? I don't know. I think I would have paid her a little more, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'm like, I tip more than I should too. I'm that kind of person. I like to overspend. I never like to feel like I'm underspending. I always want to overspend. So I would have paid more than $100K for Stormy Daniels. I actually would have paid her wherever she wanted me to and just gone to a payment plan. Just so I could feel like I'm doing right by the person. But he paid her. And she got a good story out of it. I mean, think about it. You never want someone you've had sex with to go out there and tell your secrets about your penis and about other things in relation. You don't see everyday people paying people not to do that. There's a level of respectability, understanding, and honesty. Hey, we had sex, well, let's keep that between us, Good, it was good, cool, brag about it. But if I didn't perform well, keep that to yourself, What happened to the humility of your sexual partner. And maybe, who knows, maybe if Donna was slanging dick and really dropping the big pipe, maybe she wouldn't have said anything. Maybe this is her response to, this wasn't cool for me. I didn't really come. So now you're in trouble. And now I'm going to catch you at your highest point, and you're going to pay for it. Is she the villain in this piece? I don't know. Who is the villain is the question. A man slept with a porn star. There are men sleeping with questionable women all the time. Some of them aren't porn stars. Some of them are theater majors. Some of them have no prospects. Some of them are stand-up comedians. Some of them are waitresses at Outback. They're bartenders. They're people who work in accounting. Questionable people. So he slept with a questionable person. What's the big deal? And he mislabeled it on his taxes. But do you want to put on your taxes porn star fund? I don't think so. You don't want to be judged. I don't think anyone wants to be judged for sleeping with a porn star or a prostitute or any of those people. Are we not slut shaming Donald Trump by getting mad at him for not putting what he paid for? Maybe we are. We're kink shaming. Has anyone ever thought about that deeper level to this Trump indictment that no one else was paying attention to, but we are here? Because we're not real journalists. We're just dudes with microphones. But to be fair, if he broke the law, he should, pay the penalty. If there's jail time, do some of it. It only really works out for him. If he's smart, he takes this to trial because we all need the content. The Brian Laundrie case would have been great if they had caught Brian Laundrie, because that was a court case we all deserved. It could have really united the country. This is a case that can unite the country. I just want to see Trump on the stand talking about the payment. Maybe they ask him, how did the night go? Maybe they bring her out and ask her, how did the night go? We need the days of content. And he can't go wrong because he only wins, really. Because now his base just goes, you see, they're after him. They're after our guy. This is not good. We have to rally around him and make him the Republican nominee, which people like Joy Behar seem to think it's a good idea. I don't. Headphones falling apart here. There we go. Joy Behar thinks this is a great idea, but then again, Joy Behar hasn't had an intelligent idea since the 80s. I feel like when you're on The View, your brain just slowly shrinks. Because all of them are morons, really. And I hate to say that about Whoopi Goldberg, because she's one of my favorite childhood actresses. But she, too, has lost quite a few brain cells on that show. You go up against Biden, what do you got? This guy here, this guy right here, he was out sleeping with porn stars and not listing it correctly on his taxes. What's the deal with that, man? What's the deal with that, man? And Trump's just going to be like, why are you kink shaming me? Why are you slut shaming me? Did I not pay for the service that was given? Am I not a good customer? Taxes? Everyone hates taxes. You think you're going to rally people around taxes? There's one thing everyone in America hates, no matter left, right, center, somewhere in the outskirts. We all hate taxes. We all hate filing taxes as well. So I think Trump will be just fine. I think he'll be just fine. I think he'll slap this indictment away. The other ones will be questionable. But the homie's getting away with this one. And to be fair, I've known several other people who've committed crimes and they got a hashtag movement, free this person, even though we all knew they committed the crime. So hashtag free Trump, bro. Free the homie. He's not my homie, but free the homie. He's someone's homie. Someone cares about him. Free that dude. I knew dudes who were in jail for the crime they committed, and I was like, free that guy. Because I'm a loyal friend. But in this case, I want the content. Free Trump. Or if he goes to jail, you make it a reality show. You go full board with it. You know? It's like Locked Up Abroad, but with Trump. What gang is he going to join? Does he join the Aryan Brotherhood? Does he join the guerrilla mafia that's in there as well? That's what they're called, right? There's like several different gangs in prisons, dude. Which one is he going to join? What cell block is he in? Who's his cellmate? What activities is he going to get up to? Is he going to play basketball? Is he going to play baseball? What job will they give him? Making license plates? This is the kind of content we're going to need. So Trump, to me, should jump on the grenade. Go to jail. Go full trial. Go for it. And the thing is, he can still run for president while in jail. Go for it. It could be fun. Things have been a downer for the last 5 years. Let's make things fun. Let's make it fun. Pandemics, crumbling economy, boring. Let's have fun. Former president in prison. Let's go. Presidential prison. We can call it that. I'll produce this reality show if they allow me. I don't have any producing experience, but it could be worse. But I say let it happen. Let it happen. Smart career move. He's 70-something years old. He's had a full life. Go to jail. Take some time off. And if anything, he'll probably go to federal state prison because that's the thing about it. It's fed charges, not necessarily state charges. So if he goes up to the federal resort prison, he's going to be playing tennis half the time anyway. And I know how I want this to end as well. Like, make it a show, make it. They have to storm Mar-a-Lago to get him. And the only way he's going to leave is Scarface style. It's explosions everywhere. The golf course has been like Home Alone style rigged so the government can't get close to him. He's out there in the balcony. Go all the way. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Go all the way. That's what I would do. I'd go for it. You're 75 years old. Go for it. You got nothing else to look forward to. It only gets shittier from here. Just go full board. Be a legend. Be infamous. And hell, Biden could use this. Biden could really use a real takedown, his own Waco, if you will. He needs something to distract from all the other dumb shit he's doing. Let him go Waco style. We'll get a good Netflix documentary, The Last Days of Mar-a-Lago. This is the business we're in. Politics is dumb. It's all about the content now. You think AOC's really doing things? She's not. It's about the content. It's about the clips on Instagram. Love her to death. Think she's great. She would have made a great future ex. She would have made a great ex-wife at some point. But life is the way it is. We did not cross paths earlier. But that's just how it is, She's in it for the content game. Everyone is for the content game. So what's the point? Just go to jail. Fire the guns. Imagine, remember that HBO series, Bobby, House Saddam that I showed you? Oh, I love House Saddam because there's a whole episode where his sons are holed up somewhere and they're shooting against Iraqi freedom forces and shit. And they've been betrayed by someone they trust and all that. That's what we need. Donald Trump Jr. should be packing pistols, shooting in fucking hotel lobbies. The daughters should be trying to get across, the world and trying to run away to Israel with Jared Kushner. But the problem is extradition there, so they gotta find somewhere where there is no extradition. This is the show we could be having. Instead of, politics. We need to take political theater up a level. It's been boring for the last 40 years. Let's do something new. Let's be the countries we always made fun of. Because we already halfway there. We're indicting former presidents. We used to make fun of other countries for this. How uncivilized. Look at them. Just so politically motivated for everything. They're locking away the opposition. Here we are. Did Trump lock anyone away? No. And that's another problem. That's where we're going to look bad even further on the left. We locked up one of their guys. He didn't lock up any of our guys. He didn't lock up Jim Acosta when he was yelling in the press briefing room, though he should have. Not because, he was yelling in the press briefing room, because he's Jim Acosta. Fucking loser. It's amazing how that dude took one moment, wrote a book about it, and now he's some kind of fucking First Amendment savior. Though one would argue he also infringed on the First Amendment when it came to COVID-related stuff by not talking about certain theories on air. They're turning out to be right, by the way. Ain't that some shit? But if I'm booking this, you go Scarface at Mar-a-Lago first. They finally get him. And then, you Arrested Development the rest of it. You get multiple seasons. You can change genres. This is a great content opportunity. And Truth Social now could become the only place where you find Trump content. Even more so because, let me tell you, no one's not going to want to watch Trump in prison. There's not a liberal in this country that will not pay to watch Trump in prison. They will get Truth Social, and they will deal with it if they can just get Trump in prison videos. Make money off your enemies. Make money off the hate. That's what Gary Vee does. And he's intelligent, I think. I don't know. But his videos do sound smart. Videos do sound smart. But we'll have to wait to see what else the DA unlocks. By Monday, we'll have a clearer view of what's going to happen with this case. And we will be here every step of the way to make fun of everything that's going to happen. But if a man cannot pay a sex worker in this day and age and keep it secret from his family, the government, and all the interested parties, then what kind of country are we living in? Not one I want to live in, I'll tell you that damn much. Even though I would never, I'm happy in my situation. I wouldn't pay for a prostitute or a sex worker because I got the good stuff at home, The good stuff at home. Maybe he doesn't have the good stuff at home, but it's kind of hard to believe because Melania Trump is pretty. Objectively speaking, a very pretty woman. Now, he probably doesn't understand half the things she's saying, but that's because he's never taken the time to listen to her. But she does seem like a relatively chill person. People were giving her shit for the Christmas decorations at one time, going, why do I have to do this? To be fair, I sympathize. Why should we have to fucking dress up anything for Christmas? Stupid. And I did like her choice of the very frightening Christmas, because that's how Christmas feels to me. It's a frightening time because all the demons come out, aka your family. But we will be here every step of the way to see what happens to good old DT. Will he be facing hard times? We'll see. I would just like for him to end up in the same prison as that guy, the booty warrior. Remember that dude? I like you and I want you. And we can do this the easy way or the hard way. And the thing is, Trump's got a thumper, dog. Like, you seen the videos of that butt, man? That, oof. He has been in prison. He's going to be a little bit in trouble. He got the thumper, bro. Protect him. He's got to protect himself at all costs. Or he becomes somebody's bitch. Imagine Trump becoming somebody's bitch in prison. I could fuck with that. That's a TV show, man. He finds love in prison. He discovers himself. He realizes he's been running away all this time. He's been treating women as expendable things because he's not valued them. But what he values is men. And that's because deep down, he's gay. And it could be a very rewarding experience because then he comes out and loves out loud and realizes love is love. And it changes his entire paradigm. There's a lot of good things that can come of this, is what I'm saying. I am an optimist. Don't give me that look, Bobby. I mean, come on. Why not? Why not? But then you got to think about Ron DeSantis in a situation, right? Because Ron's in a place where he can't extradite Trump out of Mar-a-Lago because then he looks like a traitor. But he also can't sit on his hands about it because then the people who are anti-Trump on the right side are looking at him like, you a bitch. You know what I mean? And Mike Pence is already outed himself out as a bitch. Like on CNN the other day, he was saying how this is a political witch hunt. And I'm like, didn't Trump try to have you killed, my guy? Like, so you gonna bitch out like that? And that's when you realize the true scope of power. Like when a person has perceived power, you will fumble over yourself to be his bitch boy. And you can't argue it. If you want a future in politics, that's what it's going to cost, especially on the right side. So that's where he is now, you know. And even Wolf Blitzer was kind of confused. And me and Wolf Blitzer are never on the same side, except when he's in Mission Impossible movies, playing himself. Then I'm really excited about that because he's chosen the right choice to accept L. Ron Hubbard as his Lord and Savior. Because that's what the Mission Impossible movies are really about. They're not really about missions between governments. It's really Tom Cruise trying to expose the SPs and how they're suppressing the world. And these suppressive persons are going to destroy us unless we look inside ourselves and find the Thetans that are there, these secret agents, as you will, and eradicate them from the system so we can live our purest selves. Maybe he's right. I mean, look at him. He's doing all these cool stunts. Hasn't died once. As if he can die twice, but hasn't died yet. Maybe that's what it's all about. And if it was about all that, I'm into it. Or maybe he, you know, because now they've got the Rogue Nation kind of storyline going on. Maybe he's a sleeper cell. Maybe he's a sleeper cell. You know, maybe he's trying to warn us about Scientology through these movies. And he's letting us know, dude, I'm only in Scientology so I can figure out how to stop these guys, you know? You can't bet against Tom. His movies are too good. Yes, personal life, wild, you know? Marriage of Nicole Kidman, wild. But the movies are bangers. You expect me to stop watching Mission Impossible? That's not going to happen. If I could book my tickets for the next 14 of those now, I would. I'm only living now and taking care of myself now so I can live to see more Mission Impossible movies. Because I want to be entertained. Because that's what really matters at the end of the day. And the passing of time before we die, that's what really matters. That's why Trump's got to go to prison. That's why the Democrats, you know, pulling off this indictment's not great politically, but it's good content. And it's getting me about half a show. So thank you, foolish liberals, for only enhancing his power. And when he does run again and just loses by this much, he will now be a martyr for the American right. And that could be a problem. Instead of ignoring him and just letting him go away, you've boosted him back up. And now CNN probably just came in their pants because now they have ratings to look forward to. And MSNBC has ratings to look forward to. Fox News, ratings to look forward to. But he's still powerful. And he still has a level of control over everyone. And that only enhances his case. He's played this one pretty good. By announcing his own indictment originally, he played it smart. Even though the rallies in his name, when he did announce that, weren't huge. They were quite small. But that's because he wasn't indicted yet, you know. I think people were just waiting to see if it actually happened. And now it has. And now the NYPD apparently has beefed up their security of the city in case any alt-righters lose their shit. I always wanted to be around for a crumbling of an empire, and thankfully, I'm here. But the cool part is, who knows what comes next? And that's the key to being an optimistic nihilist, like I am. When we come back from this one in dark, when we come back more, this will end in darkness as we discuss cocaine hippos. We take this break to remind you that if you are a fan of This Will End in Darkness, you need to spread the word. Go out, rate and review, subscribe, all that cool shit that all the other podcasters tell you to do. Do it for us, because to be fair, we're a lot cooler than them. I wear sunglasses when I do this show. Does that not make me cool? I think it does. So if you think I'm cool, spread the word, spread the darkness. Because if you don't, I'm going to blow my fucking brains out. Yeah. That's where we're at now. A lot of you have been listening to this show, not giving back. Now it's time to give back, or I will blow my fucking brains out. Or I will think about blowing my fucking brains out. I want to give myself an out. I don't want to promise something I won't deliver on. So I'll give myself an out and go, maybe I'll think about it. But it would suck if you people did not spread the word. Please spread the word. This is all I'm doing these days. It's getting kind of sad. Spread, like, subscribe, rate, review. We are everywhere. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all the audio apps, I think. We're everywhere. So wherever you're listening to us from, send it. And if you happen to be in someone's home and they haven't heard of me yet, and they happen to have an Alexa, this next part's for you. Hey Alexa, play This Will End in Darkness. There, I did the work for you. Rate, review, subscribe. Welcome back. There is some shit going down with Pablo Escobar's hippos. The New York Post reports the Colombian government is poised to spend $3.5 million to transfer about half of Pablo Escobar's invasive cocaine hippos. Cocaine hippos. You see the problem here, Bobby? My tongue doesn't work. Out of their country. Colombian officials say they are dealing with about 150 hippos, all descendants from one male and 3 females. Give it up for the male hippo. There are guys who never get laid, but this hippo managed to birth out about 150, or at least give, the beginnings of a 150 bump up. Shout out to him. He was out there slaying. Now, I hope he was careful, and I hope he has the money to provide for these hippos, as I'm sure there will be a child support case held against him at some point. But give it up. Most men never get any kind of action, but this guy got all the action. And we here support hippos who are getting the action. With no natural predators, the oversexed 3-ton herbivores have spread beyond Escobar's 7,000-acre Hacienda Napoles property, nestled between Medellin, Bogota, and the Magdalena River. Are they like upkeeping the estate, or does his family live on them now? That's a question. But what do you think was gonna happen? You think animals aren't gonna bang, or are we now against animal banging? We're not happy with presidential candidates or politicians paying for sex workers. Now we're getting mad at the hippos for getting some. This is becoming a sexless society. Authorities have now set up plans to capture 70 of the hippopotamuses, including sending 10 off to Ostok Sanctuary in Mexico and the other 60 to the Green Zoological Rescue and Rehabilitation Kingdom in India. The whole operation should cost about $3.5 million, said one of the sanctuary workers. Annabelle Gaviera, that's too Italian, I can't roll my R's. The governor of the Colombian region where the hippos reside said the plans to use bait to lure the animals into pens, where they will be confined to special crates. Sounds like a hippo holocaust, if you ask me. The animals would be flown from Rio Negro Airport to Mexico and in India, where the sanctuaries and zoos would be capable of caring for them. Despite the whopping cost to transfer them, the government officials said they wanted to send the hippos out in a humane way, rather than killing them after a cull was called last year. The hippos were officially declared an invasive species in 2022 after Colombia's Environment Ministry warned that the animals that their large amount of urine and feces could pollute rivers and threaten the country's native manatees and capybaras. Sounds like a fucking Pokemon. The hippos are known occasionally to walk into towns and clog up the traffic. The Colombian government began sterilizing the horny hippos. Fucking New York Post. In a bid to keep their numbers down. But those animals were not treated with chemicals. But those animals that were not treated with chemicals to make them infertile continued producing calves at an alarming rate. Now you have to imagine, once some of the hippos found out their boys couldn't swim, they felt a little insecure about it. They went to go talk to other hippos who seemed to be producing. And they probably had an uncomfortable conversation of growls and sad moans of, hey, my boys don't swim. And the ones who could swim were like, too bad. I'm banging everyone. I'm banging your woman at this point because I can produce. That whole society looked at them and said, you bring nothing to us. And we will move on without you, infertile or you sterile hippos. In essence, making them incel hippos. And now these incel hippos are a threat to the very Colombian government, the way incels are kind of a threat to us. And there's a lot more similarities, like their body size. Most human incels are the size of hippos. Some would say it's body shaming, but I'm fat, so I can body shame my own. Those are the rules when you're part of a group. But what are we going to do with these incel hippos? Send them away? Shun them to other countries? Terrible. We should be giving them jobs. They should be using these hippos to do other things. Bring crop around. Make them do truck work. Get a wagon attached to them and make them have to go through the sea to earn their way in society. Maybe you could give them, or maybe you could have them listen to some Jordan Peterson tapes. Maybe the hippos will find their purpose then. You have to be careful when you're a hippo that's infertile. It's a terrible thing because you cannot interact with society. And if you can't interact with society, you start trying to find new dragons, and your sword can only take on the dragons it can take on, but you need support from society, which is your armor. And you fight these mythological battles of trying to be a man. But you don't feel like a man because your sword doesn't work. And society does not look at men whose swords don't work in a favorable manner. Maybe Jordan Peterson can help the hippos. That's exactly the advice he would give them. You have to find purpose. Clean up your environment, your habitat. You have to clean up your habitat before you can clean up the world. Be a hippo. You would want to help. Can you tell I read at least the first book? I have. He says some interesting things sometimes, but the other times it's a little wonky. But, just like the idea of a Jordan Peterson hippo in like a 3-piece suit, just walking around, giving out life advice. There are only 2 genders of hippos. Because I just keep thinking of him giving advice to hippos. Just because the hippo that can produce with the female hippo is highly desired does not mean you do not have value. While you may not be able to produce, you can at least be a good man and follow the Christian teachings of Jesus our Christ and Lord. You can be prophets. I don't know what Jordan. I would love to meet Jordan Peterson and ask him about the hippos and what he advised him to do. How can you be a warrior in society when your sword doesn't work? Oh, that's so great. Fucked up to the hippos, though. Our incel hippos. But, maybe these steps have helped our incels or made them worse. I can't tell. Is Donald Trump an incel for paying for a sex worker? Because incels sometimes do end up paying for sex workers. But when they cross the Rubicon, does that not make them incels anymore? This is the problem with terms now. There's very strict rules for them. But if you are a member of the Colombian government, member of the Colombian people, we sympathize with your incel hippo problem. We have not found a solution for it. You have. Maybe you're right. Maybe we should ship them away. An island of incels wouldn't be a bad idea because they would all get together and figure something out. I don't know if there are women incels. Every time I see an incel article, it's only men. So I don't know if you'll be sending any females over there. Or, hear me out, right? They have animal sanctuaries, right? We should have incel sanctuaries where sex workers go there and that's their job. Sleep with the incel. He can't get anyone else. It will probably pay really good too. You'll tell me doing government work so you can give them government, benefits. It's a sanctuary, an incel sanctuary. See? Colombia. Am I right, guys? Colombia, figuring something out. How are we not stealing this from the Colombians to get rid of our incels? That would be my political platform. 2024 is right around the corner, and I have thought about starting a political campaign. I don't know if I'm running for president, mayor, local alderman, but I think we should run for something, Bobby. Or at least have a campaign. We could be like Andrew Yang, almost. We're never going to win, but we say interesting things sometimes. You notice how he's backed off UBI now? Like a little bitch. And that's what tells me he was never real in the fucking first place. It was never real in the fuck because he backed off of it real fucking hard. During the pandemic, we did it. And you could have taken that good, bad, or indifferent. There were criticisms and there were benefits. But he backed off of it because it was a little too complex of a conversation for the guy. He got scared. And that's what Andrew Yang is, a bitch. And I feel bad because I believed in Andrew Yang. I thought he made some solid points. But this incel hippo problem and our incels are a problem. And we need to deal with them. That sounds dark. Like when I say deal with them, it sounds dark. Like in a different time period, that can mean many different things. Poor hippos. But, I'm just thinking about Jordan Peterson talking to the hippos again. I'm sorry. I can't get it out of my mind. How can you be a hippo in society if you cannot show the woman you love by giving her a baby and handcuffing her to motherhood forever? That's the way to do it. That's how you show you love. You handcuff your wife to one role her entire life. And you don't give her a choice in that matter. I don't know if he's anti-abortion. I don't think he is. I think he's actually pro-choice. It's hard to keep up with his politics because he talks in thought experiments, so you can never really hammer him down on anything and really get a clear answer from him. It's always parables, analogies, and really, really long speeches. But Jordan Peterson as a hippo is pretty damn funny. I'll see if we can get a mid-journey photo of it and we can pop it on a screen for everybody. Could be cool. A 106-year-old woman is on the cover of Vogue this month. And the only thing I can really think of is they say the good die young. How utterly evil do you have to be to make it to 106? Like, what kind of evil shit are you up to? Have you committed murder? How many murders? Have you killed a family of 5, feasted on their bones so you could have your dinner? Did you lock people in your basement and torture them, Hansel and Gretel style? You know, who did you rob? How many husbands have you gotten rid of? What kind of thievery have you been doing? Now, I'm not saying she's done all these things. That would be inappropriate. I'm just asking questions. Could she have done those things? And you look at, movies and how like the old witch is in fact old. She's super old, crotchety, to the point where you kind of understand why she's so hateful. She's just so old. And that's why old people are utterly hateful. Time is running out. And the only thing that's fun to do when time is running out is to hate. And I just wonder how much hate does this 106-year-old woman have in her heart? Because you have to be. The hate calcifies you and keeps you alive. Because you can live too long. Some people are doing it now, but you can live too long. Like that guy, like Bill Burr was saying that one time about the Clippers owner. Had he died a few years earlier, no one would know he was racist. But unfortunately, he lived too long. So what is this woman up to at 106? Whose youth did she take away so she can continue living this long? What kind of magical brew she's got up at the house? Who is she eating? Because I think if the old rule is true and the good always die young, then that means assholes have to live forever, or at least to a very old age. And I think that's the only way you can live long. I think the hate that old people have that when they live long is so internalized that their body goes, we cannot die because our enemies would win. And they can't have that. Can't have that. I know old people now who are only living to be an inconvenience to their enemies. And I respect it. I hope to live long enough to be an inconvenience to my enemies. Don't know if I will, though. I think I got at least 75 in me. I can make it to 75. Some of my enemies will outlive me. But that's something you have to accept. You can't control time yet. Maybe she's so old she can't control time. Instead of shooting out these allegations, let's read about this old woman who's 106 on the cover of Vogue. And, Jesus Christ, is Vogue running out of people? I know Vogue was having a hard time, when you had to start including more inclusive models. That was probably the first domino to fall. Now you're at 106-year-old people. Things aren't going well. For the April 2023 beauty cover, Vogue Philippines. Oh, it's Vogue Philippines. Then let's not give Vogue too much credit. Because who's reading Vogue Philippines? Only Filipinos. Has featured indigenous Kalinga Mambatak. See, I don't know the Filipino language like that. I'll get there one day. Traditional tattooist, that's not even her fucking name, Apu Wang Od, who also happens to be the oldest person to ever grace any cover of Vogue, particularly Vogue Philippines. If Vogue had any balls, they'd put her on the cover of real Vogue, because Vogue Philippines is not the real Vogue. Sorry. American Vogue is always going to be a bit higher on respectability scale than Vogue Philippines. Also known as Maria Age, Wang Ode, okay. She's got multiple names. I kind of like it. Maybe that's part of how she lived this long. You know, she's probably died under different names, and then she chooses a new name and a new identity after she sucked the soul out of somebody. She takes on their life force. Is often described as the last and oldest Mamba Batak, and Centurion has been tattooing skin since the age of 16. Oh, she's been dedicated to a career. That's more than I can say for myself, so she's got me there. Using extreme delicate tools that required the most skilled hands. See, this is like one of those Anthony Bourdain fucking things where he makes something bigger out of macaroni and cheese. It's like, dude, it's just fucking macaroni and cheese. She began her career under her father's mentorship. At the time, she was the first and only female Mamba Batak around. Mamba Batak. I'm gonna get this right. She could usually tattoo sacred symbols of ancestors on people who are about to cross a major threshold in their lives, like men becoming headhunters. For women, tattoos would be done in order to promote fertility and beauty. Maybe she could have tattooed the hippos. Those Escobar hippos who were sterile could really use those tattoos right about now. Or maybe she did tattoo the women, and that's why there's so many hippos. Depending on the complexity of the tattoo, this is a long article. Let's just read her quotes. An aide procures an unused GC, a bamboo stick from a thorn attached to the end, while Wang O traces the pattern on Celia's arm using her length of grass tipped into soot and charcoal mixture. Holding the inked GC in her left hand, she uses the larger stick to whack it with her right hand, driving it under 100 times per minute into flesh, until 3 dots are filled with oozing blood and ink. She dabs at them with a wet wipe before deciding to go over the freshly wounded spot again for good measure. Oh, she's doing it the old school way. She never the gun. Well, now she's kind of badass. Well, since they outlawed headhunting in the 1900s, so now she's been tattooing tourists. Well, that explains all the white women in their inaccurate tattoos now, doesn't it? That's probably the evil she's been doing. This means luck. No, it means chicken. You know? Maybe that's the scheme she's running to make it to 106. Maybe God's like, you know what? This is a hell of a scam she's running. Let's see how far she can take it before she gets caught. I can get with it. 106 throw her on the cover. She's up to something. She's doing something right. There are many people who should not have made it past 100. Some shouldn't have made it past birth. That's why we're pro-choice on this show. But who knows what kind of scam she's running. She's probably putting all types of shit on people that they have no idea. Maybe she's been poisoning people. You know, because this article may be about her artistic talent, but I'm suspect. 106? Come on. Haven't done anything evil. Truly deplorable. Sounds a little suspect to me. Donald Trump is fucking questionable, moralistically. And that dude's eating Big Macs left and right, and nothing happens to him. I eat 2 slices of pizza, acid reflux, man. So how the fuck? Maybe the good dude die young. And the old assholes live forever. And Vogue Philippines may have let us know about the oldest living asshole. She's definitely running that tattoo scheme. There are people walking around right now. This tattoo, it means happiness. No, it means stone. Not that at all. These are my lucky numbers. No, that's actually a human trafficking number. They'll be coming back for you. This tattoo means beauty. No, it means whore. She's an old lady. She sometimes forgets. See, that's part of the scheme at 106, still tattooing. With that being said, we're running out of time. Thought we'd get to the Puerto Rico stuff. We'll probably do that next week. But thank you for watching. Thank you for bearing with us while I was away. People picked up the pandemic episode or pandiversary episode and really responded to it. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoy us getting back to a more lighter format. Because really weird shit are happening and we always want to make fun of it. We always want to realize that as horrible as it is, there's a joke or two that can't be said right before the end. But again, what do I know? I don't know much. But I can tell you this. I think we both know how this is going to end.